let's talk about how to make consistent money flipping pallets. And this is a tutorial. This is an in-depth guide to starting and growing a pallet flipping business this year. Don't you go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sort of Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka. Now let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to explain to you step by step how to make consistent money flipping pallets. First thing first. So here are the steps. I just want you to look on the screen right now. Here are the steps. First, you need to understand. So what are we talking about? So pallet flipping refers to buyers purchasing pallets from distributors or liquidation centers and then flipping the individual components for cash. Okay, it's important to understand that. So what is a pallet? So liquidation pallets come in all shapes and sizes. So retailers often have an abundance of returns, overstock items, or extremely marked down products that need to be cleared from the store. So selling these items allows them to recoup some of their losses while clearing out necessary space from their shelves and warehouses. So there is a need. It is a logistical and financial need for the retailers. So what is pallet flipping? And now that you understand the concept of a pallet, what is pallet flipping for real? So there are a couple of different side gigs for flipping pallets. So while some people flip empty wooden pallets for cash or repurpose them into household goods for sale, the thing here is we're not speaking about this type of flip here. So here we are speaking about buying a pallet skid, okay, full of products to be then sold individually for cash. It's really important. You buy the products in bulk and then you sell them individually for cash. So these items can be a pallet of return items from places like Amazon, overstock goods, or liquidated products. So when purchasing or bidding on a liquidation pallet, you may only be able to view pictures of the packaged pallet or some of the items around the packaging. So some warehouses do offer buyers the chance to view the pallets in person. However, while you won't be able to see every item, but you can often get a general idea of what to expect within the skid. It takes experience, though. It takes time. But if you, and I will speak about that in the next section. It's important to look at the right pallet and have a general idea of what the skid or pallets may have in terms of components. Okay, so now I really want you to understand the concept before we dig a little further. So now that you understand the concept of pallet flipping and pallets in general, let's talk about location. It's important. You need to locate the right pallet for you. So locating pallets for sale simply requires looking in the right place. Nothing complicated here. So many liquidation warehouses now sell pallets on their websites and advertise their goods on platforms like Facebook Marketplace. Okay, and finding a local liquidation warehouse can save you money on transportation costs because some will ship for free or at a reduced price due to proximity. And this is important. Geographical proximity plays a pivotal role when it comes to reducing your shipping costs, but also getting access to pallets quickly. Okay, and so it also allows you to pop in more often to snag a good pallet and get a peek of your pallet before making a purchase. As I said before, if you are buying a pallet from a location, from a warehouse that is far away, you will only get a chance to see the picture, not the components of the pallet itself. Okay, and so you can click on the buttons. You can actually, if you go to a website where you're already registered, you will have access to a lot of pallets, and you can actually, sometimes they will send you links. You could just click on those links to have an idea. So you can actually do a quick Google search in your area right now to find whatever is available in terms of liquidation platforms or liquidation sites. So if you have no local, so I want to talk to you about some liquidation sites in the US. So if you have no local warehouses or the inventory is not what you want, The cool thing is that you can turn to online liquidation sites. There are a lot of platforms out there that actually provide this kind of information. Okay, so there are plenty of websites to actually see. So you have bstock.com. You have bstock.com/Costco. You have bulk.com. You have liquidation.com. And there are also some very interesting liquidation sites in Canada. So pallet flipping is also available in Canada and it's just as popular. So you have liquidation deals. You have Amebec CA. You have bstock.com/Canada. And you have vdccanada.com. And Facebook Marketplace is also a very popular place to find liquidation pallets for flipping. Okay, all you have to do is just have to be in the right groups, in the right forums. And so, for example, there is a group called the Liquidation Group, TLG, on Facebook. It's a wonderful group. And you can request to join. And once you join, you'll have access to a lot of info about pallet flipping or pallets available for flipping. You got to think about storing the pallets because it's important. You are acquiring the pallets and you want to flip the pallets. Again, going back to the concept that I explained before. So when you buy the pallets, you want to flip the items in that pallet individually. The question is, where are you going to store the pallets in the meantime? So if you want to get serious about pallet flipping, it's important to find enough space to store the items. Okay, this is where you have to decide how much you want to invest in flipping pallets. Because let's say if you purchase one pallet at a time, a spot in an unused room might actually be enough, right? At home, that is. But eventually, you might start acquiring larger pallets where you might need more space. So that's where it might make sense to get a separate storage space somewhere else. So whatever space you decide to use, it's important that you make a separate space. So what I'm trying to say here is that you have to understand pallet flipping is a business. Okay, so you need to block off parts of your room, basement, whatever space you have in the house. You have to block that away from your actual stuff. This also goes back to the organization piece. That's very important. Being organized. And being organized means what? It means that you also have to set goals. So when we talk about storing your pallets, you're not just storing the pallets for 3 months, 6 months without goal. Eventually, you're going to have to start flipping those pallets. So it's important to have the time components from the get-go. In other words, hey, listen, I want to sell this in 1 month, or I want to sell this in 2 months. And then you have to set goals in terms of money. So, are you trying to make your money? How quickly are you trying to make your money back? You can say you want to make your money back within 2 weeks. Okay. You can say, I want to double my investment in 1 month. Remember that the best pallets will make you 100% to 300% profits. So it's important to have that in mind and not to be too greedy and say, I'm going to make 1,000% profit on this pallet. No. Just make enough money so you can flip the pallets and move on to the next pallet. It's called flipping. It's not about buying and storing forever and then no. You just flip it. So you buy it, you store it, and you flip it. The longer you keep a pallet, the more cost you actually accrue in terms of storage, in terms of if you have some goods that might go bad, this is also bad for you. So very important. The next thing I want you to do is to strategize. So when we talk about flipping pallets, if you want to make serious, consistent money flipping pallets, you really want to strategize. This is really important. And when I'm talking about strategizing, means what? I mean that you need to find the platforms, and you got to think about multiple platforms where you can flip products. Okay, because when it comes to pallet flipping, the old saying of not putting all your eggs into the same basket rings always true. Not every category of goods will have the same market on each platform, so branching out increases your chances of finding that perfect buyer. So you have Facebook Marketplace, you have eBay, and the cool thing is that eBay is one of our favorite platforms for selling pallets, because you have affordable fees, no limit on location, listing options, buy it now, auction with the reserve, make an offer, shipping fees at your discretion, a full constellation of categories, and the website visit, the traffic on that platform, eBay, is huge. So you can also try Varage Sale. Okay, it's a free selling platform that allows users to buy and sell items locally. Very wonderful. Okay, and so the locality makes Varage Sales an excellent platform for selling liquidation pallet items, because buyers can easily find what they are looking for and sellers can avoid shipping costs. Again, shipping costs can eat into your profit, so if you can avoid that, that's just great. You can also try Kijiji and Craigslist. So those are two popular options for online classifieds. Okay, so they are both selling platforms that allow users to sell items to others in their local area. So these platforms are different from Varage Sale because transactions can be completed online and mailed to the buyer. You can also try Mercari. Very good. Also, you can try Poshmark. So Mercari is a free app offering a similar selling experience as eBay. Okay, and so the app is available on Google Play and the App Store. So users can list items within moments, and the shipping labels are issued through the platform. And you also have Poshmark. So Poshmark is an excellent option for those interested in purchasing pallets of clothing. So, and the Poshmark does take a commission fee on sales though, but the platform itself is free to use. Okay, so bottom line is you have a constellation, you have a catalog of places of platforms, that is, where you can flip products. Let's talk about money. You got to think about monetizing. So how do you actually make serious, consistent money flipping pallets? Well, you have to understand, when we talk about flipping pallets, we're not speaking about overnight success. You're not going to lose 20 pounds in 20 days. Okay, it takes time. Okay, so the whole thing is that, people, if you go on YouTube, you go on TikTok, you go on Facebook, a lot of folks, some people actually talk about their pallet flipping success, and you might believe that it happens overnight. No, don't let anybody dazzle you and confuse you and tell you, hey, listen, no, you can actually make money over. No, it doesn't happen. As I said before, you're not going to lose 20 pounds in 20 days. It takes time. Okay, so it's important. So before starting your pallet flipping side hustle, you need to follow certain steps. Do prior research. So market research is pivotal before any business venture. So before purchasing the pallet, request an itemized list of the pallet in question. So if this information is not available, you want to write down all the products you can see, and you want to go home and do some research. Okay, remember that if you want to make money, you have to be able to sell the pallets, right? So if you want to sell it, you need to know what kind of products are in that skid. Okay, you want to review prices online and previous sale prices on platforms such as eBay or Mercari, for example. Okay, so you have to also, so besides the research, you got to think about the selection of the pallet itself. So you want to stick with familiar and comfortable items so that you are able to perform a strong research process here. You will be able to perform a strong research. I will say strong research. You can do excellent research on the pallet itself and the components. You want to consider shipping cost. So the thing is, remember though, while you may be able to charge the buyer the shipping fees, he or she may hesitate if the price is too high. So really important. Seasonality is also important. So if you hope to sell your products as soon as possible to rotate your money into the next pallet, avoid items that are not in season, because you don't want items that are just sitting in your basement forever. No, take into consideration the selling platforms you want to use. So if you plan on selling locally, then avoid items that are not as needed. Very important. Next thing, you want to plan. But before we talk about planning, I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Let's talk about planning now. It's important to plan. See, if you want to succeed in flipping pallets, you got to be organized. You got to plan, and organization is really important. I mean, not just in pallet flipping, but if you have a company that revolves around inventory, you got to really plan. So a simple spreadsheet can do the job of managing the inventory. So nothing complicated here. You don't have to invest in software or whatnot, or buy an app. I mean, subscribe to an app, whatever. No. So you want to organize your inventory in an easy way that you can quickly retrieve an item that you need at the time of sale. It's important. So inventory is important. Now, there are software tools in the market that allow you to actually, if you want to bring your pallet flipping business to a next level, that those software tools allow you to automate the whole thing. So you can just plug it in, plug it out, so you know exactly at any point in time whatever is in your pallets, whatever are in those pallets. Okay. But if you're a beginner and you are here and you just want to know more, then you just need a simple spreadsheet. And on that spreadsheet, you need to have some pivotal elements. You need to have the name and brand of the item SKU, okay, and the item condition, whether is it new, like new, is it used, is it damaged, does the item have missing pieces, okay. Try to be as detailed as possible. And you want to put down the retail price, the listing price, the quantity of each item, very important, the listing description. This is what's going to help you actually market the products, market the product in terms of keywords, in terms of promotional tactics. And you need to list the platform the item is listed on, and what kind of profits you expect from the pallets. So those are quintessential elements that will help you actually have a successful pallet flipping business, and day in, day out. The bottom line is, at some point, once you start making money, it's better to automate the whole thing. It's better to use software, and you probably don't need to pay a lot. You can pay like $20 per month, but with that software, you can just automate everything. So the software will do the job for you. You don't have to manually track anything. The last thing I want you to do, in terms of if you want to be a successful pallet flipping business owner, you need to actually focus. And focus is important, not just in business, but also not just in pallet flipping business, but in all kinds of businesses, right? And so when we talk about focusing here in terms of the pallet flipping business, there are two things that you want to pay attention to. You want to select the right platform. This is important. And the second thing is you want to be flexible. And you want to constantly hustle. You want to constantly be on the lookout for the next best pallet. What does that mean? First of all, we talk about platform selection. It's important that you choose to list your products on the right platform. So seeing where similar items are getting the most traction and sales can help identify where you should post your listings. And whether it is on Facebook Marketplace, on eBay, or in one of those platforms that I mentioned earlier, Varied Sale, for example. The second thing is, in terms of flexibility and hustle, remember that you have to put out more listings than usual. I'm giving you here a few hacks if you want to make money consistently and in a solid way. Put out more listings than usual. Be more flexible when meeting up in person with local buyers. Drive up to a neighborhood town, if you need to get there to sell your products, but make sure that you factor in gas prices though, and accept lower prices, accept lower offers. It's all about being in the game, being dynamic. It's all about rotating those pallets. So whatever you have to do it, okay? So pallet flipping is totally profitable. It is profitable, but if you need to take the time to research, select your pallets wisely, remain organized, market your products, and work hard and be flexible. I just mentioned that, okay? And you can also have, in terms of flipping pallets, you can also flip Amazon pallets. And we have a special show that is focused on Amazon pallet flipping, so I'm not going to go into detail here. But Amazon and an Amazon pallet, is, those pallets are customer returns that are then resold to warehouses and liquidation centers. So the items can be new, open yet in good condition, and even damaged or broken. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was explaining to you how to make money flipping pallets. And so I spoke about understanding, locating, storing, strategizing, monetizing, planning, and focusing. Thank you again for your attention. I really appreciate it. God bless you. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.